Welcome back to the Let's Talk Business podcast. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk with a ProVisors group leader. ProVisors is a national networking organization for trusted advisors and offers a platform for professionals to build meaningful relationships and generate business referrals. In studio with us today is San Antonio group leader Steve Griffith, the founder and CEO of Sales Builders Texas. Steve is a fractional sales leader who specializes in working with CEOs of companies ranging from $2 million to $50 million in revenue to build, fix, and grow their sales operations. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark. Happy to be here.
Excited to have you here. You're started the first ProVisors group here in San Antonio. Interesting backstory on that. I'm excited to get into it, but great job on the leadership for ProVisors here in San Antonio.
Thank you.
I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Krukus Virtual Staffing, a company that recruits and staffs experienced overseas administrative assistants for insurance agents who need help with policy management, claims processing, and client communication. If you're curious about the most common tasks that virtual assistants are doing for businesses, head over to our website at krukus.com and grab a list of the top 20 tasks that VAs are doing for businesses like yours. The link is in the podcast description.
All right, I'm going to go check out that list because I didn't know that was up there.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm Howie Nestel. I own Sharkmatic Advertising, a digital ad agency that makes us quite different than most agencies because I've been in the industry for more than 3 decades. So when I got started in marketing, there was no internet. We did radio, television, print, billboards. But most importantly, we brought storytelling from the old school marketing and apply it to digital marketing and influence marketing in today's world. So if you're curious about what that is and how you can leverage digital marketing to grow your business here in San Antonio or beyond, go to sharkmatic.com and reach out to us. And I'm happy to sit down with you for an hour and discuss how Sharkmatic can help you grow your influence digitally.
A quick reminder to follow the Let's Talk Business podcast on all major podcast platforms and social media where you can catch video versions of the show, which is the way I like to watch it. You can catch everything easily by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. All right, so Steve, tell me a little bit about your background so that people understand what kind of business you're in and then what led you to ProVisors.
Sure. So myself, I've got about 40 years of experience, and I started out technically as a computer programmer in the mid-'80s and migrated to sales in the tech world, which led me to a career of building and leading sales organizations for multiple companies. I've had the opportunity to work at 3 different startups, including running one to do a turnaround. But I found that what I love, my why of what I do, comes from helping people realize their own dreams. And I've worked for these 12 different companies, and each time I got recruited because something wasn't working. I got a reputation as someone who was able to fix rapidly a sales organization and turned it into a high-performing, high-producing sales team. So I would get recruited by a company, and it caused me to move around a little bit around the country, Houston, Dallas, St. Louis, Denver, back to San Antonio, where I've been now for 20 years. But I loved just doing that, making that turnaround. So now I've taken what I've learned over those 30-plus years and turned it into something that I can share with people who are starting up small businesses. From $5 million to $50 million in revenue and even beyond, I have a set of processes, tools, and frameworks that I perfected over the years, but I also joined up with a group called Sales Acceleration, which is 200 other advisors with similar backgrounds to my own, and we share those processes and frameworks with each other and help each other, and we come from all different disciplines. So I'm able to go and find people that might know a particular technology or industry that I don't, and get from them that information. So in short, what I do is I go in from a month up to 2 years, and I will either build an assessment and give a report, or I may take that report and turn it into an action plan and implement all the changes necessary for an organization. I may even lead them and their sales team for up to 2 years while we find the right sales leader. It all depends on where they are. And, in that $5 to $50 million range, the challenges change as you grow. At first, it's about getting the owner to where they don't have to do everything. They're not the key man. And later, it's on processes and automation and delegation and building of teams, all of those things. So when I do my assessment, I'm able to discover exactly where they are and what might be the best action for me to recommend that they take, and I'll help them out.
And how did that lead you, or how did you end up over at ProVisors?
Well, ProVisors is an organization that is comprised of professionals in all types of industries, and I was looking to build a network of people that would refer clients to me and that I could also bring into my clients when they needed help that I don't provide. So ProVisors fit that bill perfectly. It's made up of legal professionals, insurance, commercial banking, finance and insurance, wealth management, M&A, consultants, marketing, human resources, people from all different disciplines that are interested in helping small businesses in the same segment.
And so that attracted you in, and then you got involved, you liked it. What prompted you to actually start your own group here in San Antonio?
Well, I got involved because some of my peers with Sales Acceleration were really finding a lot of success and finding referrals through the organization. And I joined a group in Austin. I immediately saw this is something we needed in San Antonio, and I put my hand in the air and said, when you're ready to expand and grow into San Antonio, I'll be happy to help it get started. And they made that call right at a year ago. So we had our first meeting here in San Antonio with Group 1 in January of 2024.
Okay.
And you like to say you're a volunteer, right? You're a volunteer
I am a
leader.
volunteer, yes, but it borders on full-time job.
How's the response been here in San Antonio?
It's been great. I would say we've had a really strong response. The biggest challenge, as Howie alluded to in his intro, it's like winking in the dark. We have this great organization with all these benefits, and no one here knew about it. So a large part of it has been getting that word out and reaching out to people. And that's something I had to do with my business, was essentially cold call on other professionals to introduce myself, find out how I could help them. Then I could go and speak with them.
Are there requirements? I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'll ask you a question about the requirements.
No, I mean, that's, so I used that same model to locate people for ProVisors.
Right. So I know you talked about the ideal client for your fractional sales team building business, but 5 to 50 million and beyond. But for ProVisors, that has nothing to do with ProVisors. What kind of members are you looking for to become part of ProVisors?
Sure. So membership criteria is something that ProVisors outlines for us. And we want people that have been in their profession for 10 years or more, people that are prone to building a community and networking. If you're familiar with a book by Bob Berg called The Go-Giver, that's a great mentality that we're looking for. People that really want to go out and serve and help others, not just themselves. So good members of ProVisors are ones that will engage with other people in order to serve them, not to take and get. And you're going to receive quite a bit of benefit when you join ProVisors and get involved. But like any organization, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah, that's networking, right?
Yes.
It's when you lead with that mentality of I'm here to give, right? I'm here to be a part of a community and enhance that community. Everybody wins. I think
It
that's
must be a valuable group, though, to get you in as a member, because you're a semi-skeptical buyer as a business owner. What attracted you to become a member of ProVisors?
Well, certainly it was the quality of the folks that are there. It's a national networking group with like 10,000 members. So in my business in particular, I can do it anywhere, right? Anywhere in the world, but certainly nationally. So to be able to tap into an established group of professionals, that could be my ideal clients, and then also referral partners. That's what I was after.
Yeah. I like what you said, and maybe I missed it because I was a guest at the ProVisors meeting a week ago or so, but I may have missed that in the industry for 10 years or longer, which is what you said, which is pretty unique differentiator because I've been in a lot of referral groups and business groups that get together and, try to sugarcoat a little bit, but I've been in business for 35 years and I've been a partner in two businesses and 20 businesses. And sometimes I'm not at par with some people in some of these other groups that just started their business. They office out of the Starbucks near their house. They're not really looking to do any marketing right now. They're just trying to figure it out. Whereas if you have people in the room that have been in business for 10 years or longer, I mean, that you know they're pretty serious about the industry, and they have some good connections, or they should.
That's correct. And that's the big part of it. You have to bring something to ProVisors, not just expect ProVisors to give to you. Like I said, I mean, it took me 6 months to get my first referral out of ProVisors. And it was a great referral. Somebody that I hardly knew, but they knew about me, so they referred someone to me, and I went and met with them. And it was just a great setup. The biggest challenge in a referral type model is for the people making the referral to understand who fits for you. Mm-hmm. They can refer a lot of people, but they're the wrong people. I may get a lot of startups referred to me, but if they're under $2 million in annual revenue, they may still be figuring out what their business is. Not that revenue is the only marker, but that usually is a good key point to look at. You know, if they're not in business for 3 years, they may not have a business yet. So that's a big part of it. And there's a motto for ProVisors: know, like, trust, and refer. The whole idea is to build a community, an elevated model of interaction among professionals where you get to know each other first. And through that, you start to like each other. In other words, I don't want to bring anybody into ProVisors that I wouldn't also like to sit in the car with and drive from here to Dallas for 5 hours and back. So that kind of fits, if it's somebody that I don't want to be around, that I don't find I have something in common with to share, they may not make not just my opinion, but anybody else in the group may not find that they're a good fit for the group.
Yeah. Let's talk about the functional components of it. Mm-hmm. So you guys meet once a month, but correct. Tell us some of the other things that ProVisors has structure-wise that can really help, people, professionals that want to join a network like that, really kind of tap into and build their network.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started in 1998 out in Los Angeles with a couple of attorneys that would get together for breakfast, and another attorney came in and joined them, and then their accountant and so forth. And attorneys, by and large, are strong referral partners. They will refer business to each other for different disciplines. So the group that started it, called the Professional Networking Group, they started another group, and that kind of grew. So we now have 10,000 members of ProVisors across the nation and regions everywhere. There's a couple of hundred groups in LA alone. We've got 2 started here in San Antonio. A group is made up of 25 to 40 people. And what we do is we meet monthly, and at each meeting, we then create what we call a troika assignment. A troika is a Russian word for 3 horses abreast pulling a cart, because 3 horses abreast is stronger than 3 in a line in what they can pull. And working together, they do better. So that's what the troika is about, and it promotes that know, like, trust, so you can refer model. And with 3 people, there's only 1 conversation, whereas if you have 4 people at a meeting, you might have 2 conversations. So a lot of thought went into that structure. And besides that, we'll have some social events, and we have social events where we'll ask members to bring candidates to the social as well. And then we bring candidates into the meetings on a monthly basis. There is an online website for the members, and you can go and search and find members of any discipline in any part of the U.S. to help you out. One of our members locally was looking for an attorney in the Boise, Idaho area. Went online, found somebody in ProVisors, and got some help for his client. As well as meetings. We have meetings all the time. We meet once a month. Sometimes we meet on Zoom, but mostly in person. If you're traveling, you might want to go and jump into a meeting of a local group, or you may want to jump on a Zoom call. And there's special interest groups. Like we just formed a commercial real estate group for the Austin, San Antonio area. There is a mergers and acquisitions group. There may be a women's group. There's a DEI group. So different special interests will come up, and we'll form a small group, and they'll meet over Zoom, and they'll cover a large area. I usually guest into 1 meeting every month. And with my attendance, I troika with people in that group. So I'm getting to know people all across the country and build my network and share with them what I do. So I found it very beneficial. I've done a lot of networking groups, and this isn't counting referrals, although that we do keep track and we provide testimonials. But the real purpose is to build a community.
So what advice, if somebody's considering joining a group like this, what advice would you give them?
First ask yourself, am I ready to give some of my time to engage and be a part of this group so that I would be able to bring a referral before I expect to get one? And if you're interested in that way, reach out to me. They can find me. You can email me, sgriffith@salesacceleration or steve@salesbuilderstx.com. Maybe we can add that to the podcast. And just reach out to me and I'll help you get connected. They can go to the ProVisors website, provisors.com, and learn a lot there, find out, and it'll connect them if they show interest with a regional director who's employed by ProVisors.
Give me a realistic expectation of time commitment for ProVisors.
As a member, you're going to show up to the meeting and show up to your troika, and you're going to make some one-on-one calls and meetings with people in the group, just like you would every day in your life.
So that's once a month for each of those?
Once a
Even
month.
Even the troika is once a month?
Yeah.
You said know, like, trust, and refer, okay? Let's drill down a little bit into the no. I've heard a lot of business owners say it's who you know, not what you know. But now after 30 years in business, it's, I think, less about who you know. It's more about who knows you and who knows what you do. And does ProVisors help people that are in the group get known for what they do and what they offer? Is there a mechanism to promote that, or is it up to the individual member?
It's still up to the individual member, but it does provide some help. Like, we have a group of power networking tutorials or videos that help you understand how to build your brand, how to gain visibility, how to introduce yourself, how to have a memorable testimonial. We want, when I give a testimonial, it's not about me, it's about the person that I'm giving the testimonial for. So if you do a good job and refer, other people are going to raise you up, and everybody's going to want to, get a testimonial from you. So then they're going to refer business to you because, you did this great job of building them up. And so I make referrals. I think I've given each of you a referral in the last month, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Well, you said the book Go Givers. I wrote it down. I have heard of it. I just I've never picked it up, so I'm going to look it up. But I've always heard of a saying called "givers gain," right? So if those who give gain. It's not why you do it, but it's a byproduct. And people who show up just to get, usually it's short-lived. Your gains are not that big. Do you find that most people that come to ProVisors are already givers, or do they become givers because it's a culture of giving?
I think most of them are already prone to be givers. You'll find that, we don't have anything yet that we're doing from a community service standpoint, but, these are people that are going to be involved in community or philanthropy of some sort. They're going to be prone to engaging others in the business or making referrals to other people, whether they were in ProVisors or not. It's easy to understand that that's the kind of person they are. When people come to me and they go, well, what am I going to get out of ProVisors, right? Okay, we got a little red flag there. Let's dive into that a little bit. Doesn't mean that they're not a candidate. It just means that they don't yet have an understanding of what it's about.
Yeah, which is actually an opportunity there. I mean, I've been around plenty of folks that come to the table with a take mentality, and they just don't understand the joy of flipping that. To where it becomes a giver's mentality. To be able to go in, even when I was considering joining ProVisors, I'm like, I want to be able to give straight away because I know the value of it, and it's really helps build a know, like, and trust factor.
That was part of the impetus for suggesting and volunteering yourself to do these interviews with ProVisor members, right?
Correct.
Because as you bring something to the group that gives them exposure that they would not otherwise have with any other member.
Well, and to Steve's point earlier, where San Antonio doesn't really know about ProVisors, I think I can make a pretty good case. There's a lot of the country that doesn't know about ProVisors yet, but creating a platform where people can learn about it in a good way would be great. And that excited me about. Well, that was one of the first conversations we had. It was about me doing something like this with a podcast. So.
Well, and what's interesting is, you think, well, if you're 10 years in business, you might not be interested in expanding your network. Actually, that's the whole point. We want people that have already built a network that are interested in sharing and lifting up and helping other people. So you already have established yourself. That, is a kind of a key piece. If you're coming to ProVisors to build your business, you may have the wrong idea of what it's about. Now, if you come to ProVisors and say, I want to help other people build their business, that's my kind of person. And for me, it fit perfectly because that's what I love. That's why I do what I do. I love helping other people. I love watching other people, reach and attain their dreams and their goals and aspirations. It's a lot
part
of fun.
of legacy. You want to leave a business legacy. Once you do business long enough, and Mark, you've only been self-employed here for a couple years, but if I can connect the dots for you into the future, is you start to realize that once you have a successful business, once you're making an impact on your team, once you're being recognized as a good leader, you want to have some legacy where you pay it forward, because you then start to realize somebody helped pave the way for you. Maybe it was somebody in ProVisors, maybe it was a mentor, whatever it is. And then you find yourself that you're in that position. And then you want to do that for other people, because, business, especially small business, is really arguably what drives this country.
Absolutely.
Small businesses and employment. It's not the few gigantic multinational, multi-billion-dollar companies. They're the ones that are not paying taxes.
I just read an article about that. Yes.
Yeah.
So what kind of, as we wrap up this segment, what kind of folks are you looking for in the ProVisors group? Like, there's San Antonio 1 and now San Antonio 2. What kind of people are you looking for?
Well, we're looking for people that are a part of the community, that are connected, that kind of fall into that professional space that we're after. Up until November, or up until the middle of October, I could hardly get an accountant on the phone unless I wanted them to do some work for me. So now we've got, they've been through their busy season. They've got a little bit of time. We'd love to have some accountants and bookkeepers come into the group. Attorneys of all professions are great. We have a number of attorneys in our group already. Forming a new group, there's a lady, Sarah Ramirez, who has Group 2, and she has just gotten started. I believe she's had 2 or 3 meetings, and her group is building. So even if, there's already somebody in that profession in my group, there might be an opportunity in Sarah's group or Group 3. We'll form more groups. I'll use Austin as a good example. They've got 7 groups in Austin that have anywhere from 20 to 35 people in each group. And we'll do joint meetings in Austin where we'll have 50 people in the room. And it's great because we always make sure that everybody knows each other. There's an introduction. So we help you create a memorable introduction, not just, hi, my name is Steve Griffith. I'm a fractional sales leader. And, that's kind of boring. Everybody does it. Tell a story, much like you talked about, Howie.
Yes.
Stories are so powerful. Tell me about how you helped someone. And when I ask people to introduce, at the beginning of each meeting, I'll ask for some kind of question like, what was your first job?
That was so much fun. I love that. You could tell people lit up when they were talking about their stories about their first jobs.
Yeah. So, I always try to find something interesting to stick into the introduction request of everybody. And that's what it's all about. And we have some outside speakers come at each meeting. Sometimes we have the members present. Like this last meeting, we had somebody speaking to us, Bradley Stroud with StroudLink, was speaking about PEO services, and he's a broker of PEO services. And he brought so much to the table that we don't understand about the value of a PEO, how it applies, and even an offer that he has for individuals, that are 1099 employees, not W-2. So really great. And it's a learning experience.
Yeah, something that I think would be cool too is as it grows here in San Antonio is certainly the having local impact through charity or nonprofit work or something like that. definitely something that we should.
Yeah.
And I know a couple people like Howie for one.
Howie's got a charity.
And then,
Yeah.
and then
And I'm happy to have all the ProVisors come out to Gotcha Covered this December 1st.
Yeah, that's
9
a
a.m. to
collection
3 p.m.
drive. It's just a one-day thing. You come out for a couple hours, get a T-shirt, and then help collect some stuff and put it in the deal. It's a good, photo op, and it's a good time. You can have food. You gonna have food this time?
Yeah, of course. I always have food, breakfast, coffees, teas.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think
you get
that's
fed,
how
you get a T-shirt, and we collect. In 6 hours. We'll collect almost 70,000 pounds of new and gently used clothing, non-perishable food items, toiletries, and that same day, they'll all go to Haven for Hope, Battered Women and Children's Shelter, and the San Antonio Food Bank.
That's awesome. I think that's terrific, and that would be something I'd love to get our groups involved in. And we just get together and do that, and it's, again, a chance for us while we're standing there and have a little downtime. You get to know the person standing next to you. You're working shoulder to shoulder, and you learn what they're made of and what about their family and how they got to San Antonio and where they went to high school.
I had last couple years a friend of mine, Sichon Siv, who was U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. He came from Cambodia. His family was wiped out in the killing fields. He ended up as Deputy Assistant Secretary to George H.W. Bush. And, he was with a bunch of UTSA students, and they were loading up a truck, and they started asking him, and next thing you know, he ends up going and speaking to their class, later on. You connect, right? You get to know, like, trust, and refer.
That's it. And referrals don't have to be something that results in a monetary engagement. A referral is just a connection. I make a point of when I meet with people, I grab their introduction paragraph, and I have an intro tool. I start connecting people over email all the time. I'll make 15, 20 introductions a week, and it's just second nature for me now. But I think that's important. Some people call it net weaving, is kind of a new term.
I like that, net weaving. I'm going to write that down.
There's some articles on it, and net weaving is where you take your network and you just make sure that everyone in your network of people knows each other.
Yeah, or you can
much
do what
more powerful.
You can do what I do.
Yeah, you can do what Mark does, which is he'll take credit for introducing you to somebody, even if he didn't.
What?
So we'll see each other and goes, yeah, remember I
thought you were going to
introduced you
say
to
I
him?
throw the mega mix where everybody can come in.
Well, no, that's true too. And the mega mixer is a great way for people to mix. But if Mark sees me talking to somebody, he goes, oh yeah, remember I introduced you to him?
Yeah,
I'm thinking
absolutely.
Like, no,
And you know what?
I knew him before. No, I introduced you to him. You didn't know him before.
Well, you know what? And it costs you nothing to say, you know what, Mark, you did. Thank you.
Yeah, Howie, it doesn't cost you anything.
You don't know Mark that well.
Well, it's like some
it'll
people,
cost me. It'll cost me.
It'll cost you, yeah. No, that's good. But, and it's even with referrals, in the networking world or, just in the business world, sometimes a referral, people want to pay you a fee, a referral fee. And personally, I don't want anyone thinking that I referred a person to them in order to get a fee from the person I referred. So I direct it to my charity of choice. And I like that much better.
Great.
Make a donation in my name or in your name. It doesn't matter. Just make a donation to my charity of choice. And, I've had a chance to be a part of a charitable organization and serve on the board, and that's where I direct things.
Yeah, for me, if it's a small, referral fee, I'll donate it. But if it's large enough, I'll take it because I have things I want to buy. No, I do that with speaking fees. How much do you charge? I go, it depends. How much are you paying? $300? Just donate it to a charity.
Yeah.
But if it's $5,000, I'll take it. No,
Yeah.
But I'm glad you made that distinction because there is something that feels not right about receiving a referral fee when you refer somebody. I'm in the car business, they call it bird dogging, right?
Yeah.
So you bring a customer and then they kick you a little money on the side for you bird dog for them. All kidding aside, referrals, especially coming from a non-biased third party, carry so much more weight than anything we could say about our own businesses.
Right.
Or what a client who's happy says about us, also very good, but somebody who knows us in a third-party sense that maybe hasn't even used us but has heard really good things about us, says, this guy's a great reputation. Because then they're putting their reputation on the line by referring you. Carries a lot of weight. So I see the value in a group like this.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's just it. I mean, if somebody gives me a referral and I go and I perform work for the person they referred and I do a bad job, it's going to reflect on that person. That's very personal to me. So I don't want to do a bad job. I'll turn it away if it's not something I think I can do a great job at. I have other people that maybe are better suited, and I'll refer them to that person. Or maybe it's, maybe they need marketing and not sales. I'm going to call Howie.
Sometimes, Steve, there's a personality thing, right? You don't have that. There isn't that chemistry, and so I refer people to competitors of mine, or people that do the same thing I do. I'm not going to call them competitors because I just don't feel that kumbaya thing with them. So I'm like, it'd be great for you.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, anything else you wanted to throw out about ProVisors before we wrap up? We covered quite a lot of ground.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground. It's a great organization that's not well known here in San Antonio. I found it to be very beneficial. We're looking to grow the organization, but we're not going to just throw the doors wide open and let everybody in. It's by invitation only, and people have to express an interest once they've been a candidate at a meeting. If they express interest, we don't go chase them down. So, that it's becomes a small group. Not that we're, selecting people out. We've got a great, diverse group of people in our organization, and that's important. But we want people that want to give, that want to help, and want to build community and are already established in their business.
I love that. All right, well, I definitely came ready to serve, so I'm excited about the ProVisors journey. All right, Steve, if folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Well, I've got a website, salesbuilderstx.com, or they can email me, steve@salesbuilderstx.com. Those are two easy ways. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm not that hard to find. And if you can't find me, you can reach out to Mark because he's one of my ProVisor members, and he'll make a referral.
Yeah, I'll get you connected for sure. I'm easy to find. All right, Steve. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Howie, thanks for being here. I appreciate that as well.
You bet.
Appreciate the invitation. Always good to see Steve, and sometimes it's good to see Mark.
All right.
All right, as we wrap up the show, a quick reminder to check out our latest podcast and catch video versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for this one. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you on the next one.